I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is my July reading wrap up. In the month of July, I read 31 books. I DNF'd 12 of them, so we're going to talk about 19 today. As always, they are in chronological order. They're linked in the description. If they're Kindle Unlimited, they're marked in the description. All that jazz, all the time. First one is His Majesty, which is Kingstown #1 by Shon. I give this 5 stars. This is a short, steamy, second chance black love novella. I did kind of tear up at the ending, which was surprising. This is a really great one if, one, you want steamy, and two, if you want to see someone learning how to love their person right. Even if their emotions were always in the right place, learning to take care of what they need. And I will definitely be reading more from this author and in the series. In fact, I am reading the next one, and it was really, really good. Next is Merciless Villains, which is Ruthless Villains #4 by Marion Blackwood. I gave this 4 stars. The entire series has been 4 stars for me. This was a 3-star, but the ending kind of upped it. This is an established but new couple at this point in the series. It's villains, it's magic. She's a poisoner, he is a force mage. They are both dark mages, which are people who have kept their magic rather than sharing it with the population. And you do see there's another series by this author that the first book is out. It's Ruthless Enemies. You see that couple, or at least the guy from that couple, in this book, and they're already an established couple at this point, so that was interesting. Then I read Hostile Takeover, which is Blackwood Billions #1 by Christina C. Jones. This was 5 stars. This is a black love billionaire forced marriage of convenience, forced for business purposes basically, but also she's who he wants. It's protective, possessive. The conflict beats in this were great. You're not having a third act breakup, you're having some conflicts earlier in the book, and I really liked that. I liked the way that that was paced out. I thought it was well done. You have content warnings for historical death of a parent, and it was specifically from cancer, and then also historical medical neglect, and then you have a current elderly family member. Are you kidding me? Are we starting mowing or weed whacking or something in the middle of this video? Is this cursed? Is it cursed? I hate it here. What was I even saying? Oh, you have an elderly loved one failing health in the book. Okay, current time. Everything about this was great. It was exactly what I wanted. Then I read Merciless Villains, which is Ruthless Villains #5, the final book in the series by Marion Blackwood. 4 stars. The entire series is 4 stars. The beginning of the series has some editing issues, but some more unique storylines, some like things I was more interested in. And then later in the series, those editing issues get improved upon, but are maybe a little bit more formulaic in their story. Overall, every single book got 4 stars from me. I enjoyed it. It's good, not great. Then I read Magnolia Chronicles, which is the Satillian Triplets #1 by Cate Canterbary. I gave this 3 stars. This is the author of In a Jam. This is an older book, and the main character of this was like the conflict, the other woman, the thing that kind of broke up a couple in another book, which I haven't read, but it's referenced quite a bit. And also she really like considers herself a failure and a mess and stuff. You have a messy love triangle of 3 people who are a little bit lost in their 30s, and I just don't know that I really needed that. It's not super focused on the romance. The banter is good. The characters are good. I do like Cate Canterbury's writing. I do want to continue the series, but if I'm not really liking some of her older books, I'll either just read her new releases or ones that maybe like Steph and Novelty Corner has already read and loved, because this one I didn't need. Then I read His Curvy Rejected Mate, which is 5 packs #4 by Kate C. Wells. 5 stars. This is Curvy Rejected Mate. There is fat phobia at the beginning of the book from the pack as a whole. It's gross. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as I thought it might be, but it's just like, what is you people's problem? Like, seriously, what is your problem? Also, there's like a forced eating thing, so caution on that. Just one little scene of it, but you know, it grossed me out. I have trouble, like I gag easily when I'm grossed out. And like rapid fire or forced eating or anything like that kind of is hard for me to to watch. So it's a toxic environment and bullying, but that is the first 30% of the book, and then they're leaving that pack through different circumstances, and you're really not dealing with it again after that, which was great for me. I really just needed it not to be dragged out and not throughout the whole book, and it wasn't, and I was really happy about that. I thought that was a good choice. I loved getting to see her save not just herself but also her mate, and being that for them. The conflict of, you know, it being a rejected mate, I thought was well explained, and, you know, still a mistake, but wasn't one where like you're having trouble even wanting them together. Then I read Princess, which is Kindle number 2 by Claire Kent. I gave this 5 stars. This is a very Claire Kent-esque. It's a dystopian romance. You have a older guard, and then you have the younger daughter of a billionaire. He bought their way into this bunker before the world was ending and stuff. It was just a contingency plan. When she's like 17, the world ends. And her dad dies a couple years in, and she's still living in this bunker. It's 5 years later. There's, you know, around 100 people or so, and it's their romance. And, you know, if you want quiet, protective, gruff, possessive, worship the ground you walk on but can't talk about my feelings heroes, it's just good. It just is. Then I read Seduction of a Psychopomp, which is Badlands number 3 by Elsie Winters. I give this 5 stars, obviously. Content warning for chronic illness and death. You have a fae princess that is chronically ill. They don't know what's wrong with her. They can't fix her. And she is all the way up to death. So right now she is in a magical coma, trying to just keep her in stasis for life. The Grim Reapers, because immortality forever is a long time, they have the ability to have a mate that lives as long as they do. So his magic is going to heal her. However, it's a very slow process. So even though she's no longer going to die, she's still not okay. She's still not 100% or anything like that. Elsie Winters is an Own Voices chronic illness author, and I thought that she did a really good job with this. I think that this is, you know, having magic to fix a disability or an illness or a health condition can be iffy. It can be real iffy, and I don't think that she fell into that trap at all. It was really great watching him take care of her, especially because he is a Grim Reaper, and he's a young Grim Reaper, so he's in his 30s and she's like 28. So these two, you know, supernatural, paranormal beings who would normally live a very long time are still on the young side. But he is not used to having to keep anything alive. His job is literally death. And then she, you know, needs a lot of caretaking. She doesn't have the energy or the ability to, you know, even take care of herself, which is a frustration that a lot of people with chronic illness or other health issues can relate to. It's an arranged marriage by their grandparents, basically. You have a bashful, quiet, young Grim Reaper. They read together. She's trying her best to seduce him, but it's very subtle. It was just really, really cute and sweet. If you want cinnamon roll, cozy, sweet fantasy romance with not a whole lot of plot, not a whole lot of stakes, you just get to see two people fall in love in a fantasy setting. Delightful. And of course the friend group is the best. So that is the end of that series, which I'm kind of sad about, but we are definitely getting more books in this universe of Elsie Winters, and I will read every single thing she writes. Then I read 1 Week in Paradise, which is Flights and Feelings number 1 by Anise Starr. I gave this 3 stars. This was not great. It's brother's best friend. She is an influencer. She has a bad breakup on the internet where she was the other woman. So, you know, there's content warnings for cheating and stuff with that past relationship. There's absolutely no communication whatsoever up until like the 80% mark. She will not let anyone finish a sentence. She will not have a conversation. She will not be open or honest with anyone. It drove me up the wall. Because she is an influencer, she's offered this couple's trip. She no longer has a boyfriend because of the big breakup. And so her brother suggests that his best friend go with her. And that's what they do. Can they talk? No, but they do go on a trip together. Then I read Claiming April by Drea Anderson. I gave this 3 stars. This is a short, steamy, black love, paranormal. You have a witch and a wolf shifter. There is historical domestic abuse. She is a single mom. It was very, very insta-love, to the point where I didn't enjoy it as much, but it was still good. Then let's get Textual, which is Texting number 1 by Tegan Hunter. I gave this 4 stars. She's in college and he's like 25, and they are texting the wrong number. And then they are texting, and like you have all these chapters of them, you know, communicating, and it's done really well. Their banter is really good. You can see why these 2 people would be interested and want to know more about the other person, even though they've only basically experienced text messages. They are such big dorks, especially him, but they are nerdy, dorky, silly, funny, you know, ridiculous jokes. And it was really good. I will say there's a content warning for revenge porn. Great banter, a fun, good time, not too much conflict. They did have a third act breakup about the revenge porn, because obviously falsely thinking it's their fault. But then I read The Jested Heir, which is the Scorch Throne number 1 by Sarah Hesham. I gave this 4 stars. She is the long lost heir of this magical kingdom that has been wiped out by the other nations, and then his nation, he's the son of the leader, he's the head of the military, he's also the head of hunting for magic users, the Jasadi people. Their nation is in charge of basically hunting out magic users, so they don't rule over all the other nations. They are independent nations. Her nation basically no longer exists. It's been scorched and burnt, and everyone has been hunted to the point of extinction. But the other countries are not under the rule of this guy's dad, collectively appointed authority on magic hunting. I will say, he's the colonizer, she's the colonized, he's white, she's brown. He actively is trying to murder her people, and they fall in love. So, is that problematic? Yes, yes it is. Have we had many a white author do it? Yes, so I guess it's a brown author's turn. But you might not like it. You might not be able to enjoy it. You might not be able to ignore it because of that. He is very cunning and really smart and, you know, good at thinking ahead. And I really liked that about him. There's no steam. There's one kiss. This is a very tropey book. If you liked Throne of Glass, if you liked the Red Queen series, it kind of reminded me of the dynamic in Shather Me, although the things are different. It's tropey. That doesn't mean that it's bad. That just is what it is. And if you're going into this for the Egyptian aspect, I didn't see it anywhere. I believe her when she says that it is based on the history of Egypt for the last 500 years or so, but I just got nothing Egyptian from it. I would have never known if I hadn't been told that. Then I read Ladies on Top, Volume 1. I gave this 4 stars. This is, he is submissive, she is dominant, and they're basically working through the fact that they think that something's wrong with them and they can't have a normal relationship. And he has trouble being aroused because he doesn't want to be in charge. That doesn't work for him. But he believes that that is his place as a man. I think that this is good representation. It's just not a thing that I'm particularly interested in for my own reading enjoyment. Then I read the second volume, 3 stars. It was fine. We had some consent issues with an ex, and I really just wish people, you know, viewed men as needing the same level of consent that women do. I don't like it when we act like they don't deserve that. Then I read Morrow by Trisha Wolfe and Bryn Weaver. This is 5 stars. It is a dark romance with serial killers, 2 serial killers. She's the survivor of a serial killer, and he is a psychopath. It's kinky, it's steamy, it's bloody. I liked it. It's all the stuff I like in a dark romance, honestly. Then I read Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. I gave this 5 stars. Our main characters are 48 and 50. She is a divorced single mom, and he has never been married. He is bisexual and demisexual, and I loved getting to see him kind of learn more about his identity. It was a huge plus. However, content warnings for homophobic, toxic family, You have an attempted forced outing by his homophobic / biphobic ex. You do see him not dealing with that anymore, which I love. I love, if we're gonna have that, I want to see us end it, basically. Get, to a point where we're not dealing with that on a regular basis anymore. He is trapped in the small town taking care of his mother, who has failing health. He moved back to take care of his father while he was dying of cancer. He is a hospice nurse. She had a bad marriage followed by a bad divorce. They are both introverts. If you are an introvert, you will feel seen in this book. Living the life you want and not what others think is best for you, and finding happiness in middle age. Her son is in college. They are gamers, online gamers. You have all that fun, nerdy aspect. And I loved this book. It was a delight. Even the toxic family stuff wasn't enough to make it where this book was not enjoyable. I think it was a really good balance of that. You really felt for him, and you felt for her too, but a lot of it's focused on him. And also, she thinks he's college aged and he thinks that she is like an 80-year-old, so that is hilarious. I loved them. I really did. This was easily a highlight of the month. Then I read Yakuza Fiance Volume 1. I gave this 3 stars. Didn't really like it. I didn't love the art. I didn't love the dialogue. I didn't love the plot. This guy was weird. I wasn't really into any of it. She sells a kidney to prove a point to him. Just, they're weird. They're weird. I don't know what to tell you. Then I read the second volume. I gave it 4 stars. This is my, I think, first ever black character in a manga, which I am assuming based on the hairstyle that was used. So that's kind of cool. He was a little less weird in this one, but it was still weird. And then lastly, I read Sinful Obsession, which is Mafia Misfits number 5 by Asia Monique. I gave this one 3 stars. I did not enjoy it quite as much. I thought it was a bit disjointed. By the end, I was really ready for it to be over. I do know this is the last one that she wrote before feeling like she needed a break, like she was rushing her books and they were suffering for it, and she took a long break. So the next one just came out. So I would think that I'd probably enjoy that one more than I did this one. Content warnings for sex trafficking. She is a survivor of that. Drug addict parent. Toe sucking, which is never a thing I can enjoy. And violence, general violence. They kill people and stuff. But it is a black mafia series. Everybody's black, basically. And it's supportive families, supportive friends, support systems. You're not going to see active abuse. You're not going to see anything like that. They are very respectful and protective and supportive of everyone, which is unusual in a mafia setting, and I love getting to see in this series specifically. So that's it. That's all the books I read in July. Let me know if you want to read or have read any of them, or if you have any recommendations for me based on the ones I liked. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.